Activate a Digicel Prime bundle in the My Digicel app and shake to win this Christmas.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Right here in Kaieteur, I am Kevin Smith. These are the top stories we are tracking. World Court rules it has jurisdiction to hear Ghana-Venezuela border case. President Ali says the ICJ ruling is a victory for Ghana. Ghana is still to install 5-year-old IMF recommendations. AFC leader holds one of the world's worst oil contracts as a badge of honor. And Haitians at the center of controversy leave the country. Stay tuned to stay informed. International Court of Justice, or ICJ, otherwise known as the World Court, yesterday ruled that it has jurisdiction to hear the Ghana-Venezuela border case. The 12-3 decision of the 15-member bench of the International Court was live-streamed via the court's website yesterday. Delivering the ruling, President of the ICJ, Justice Abdul Qawi Ahmed Yusuf, noted that the court's jurisdiction to hear the case is founded upon the conferral of both countries in the authority of the UN Secretary-General under Article 4, Paragraph 2 of the February 17, 1966 Geneva Agreement. Meanwhile, President Irfan Ali declared a landmark judgment handed down by the ICJ in the Ghana-Venezuela border controversy case a win and testament to what can be achieved through cooperation. Ali joined government ministers, heads of the disciplined forces, along with senior foreign affairs officials at the Arthur Chang Conference Center to listen to the ruling read by the ICJ's president, judge. And in other news, over the last 5 years, the International Monetary Fund, or IMF, has been one of Ghana's key partners in developing the technical capacity that is needed to properly govern the oil and gas sector. In addition to this, the IMF has been at the forefront of highlighting many loopholes in Ghana's oil deals, as well as its legislative and regulatory framework, which can aid in mitigating significant value loss. In this regard, it has produced several reports between 2015 to now that offer critical recommendations that should be adopted. Now, in spite of the prudent advice it has offered in these reports, there has been no significant application by Ghana's political leadership. For example, on numerous occasions, the IMF has appealed to Ghana to strengthen its petroleum fiscal regime through the revision of the Petroleum Act of 1986 and the Petroleum Regulations Act of 1986, as well as other tax laws and sector regulations. And moving on, while former Minister of Natural Resources and AFC Chairman Rafael Trotman has conceded that the Stabroek Block Agreement is lopsided and therefore warrants an international investigation, leader of the AFC Kebran Ramjatan is of the belief that the agreement is one of the best decisions the coalition has ever made. Ramjatan made these and other utterances on Thursday evening on a Facebook pre-recorded video where he made relations between the Ghana-Venezuela issue. To date, there is no evidence to show that that controversy played any part in the deliberations, and that excuse came after the $18 million signing bonus was exposed. Ramjatan even labeled this paltry $18 million signing bonus as an achievement, but research shows this money on the lower end out of similar oil finds. And now let's tell you that 26 Haitian nationals, recently been at the center of a suspected smuggling and human trafficking controversy, have left the country. This was confirmed by their attorney-at-law hired by the Association of Haitian Nationals, Darren Wade. His confirmation came after reports surfaced that the 26 nationals had disappeared from the hotel they were staying at on South Road, and two persons saw them being picked up by two minibuses. The Haitians were picked up by authorities within the period of November 7th and November 8th. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Coming up shortly, cop on bail for allegedly raping 13-year-old relative, and Harman again dodges on promised oil and gas press conference. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. A policeman was on Wednesday placed on a $150,000 bail for allegedly raping his 13-year-old cousin when he appeared before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts. The defendant denied the charge, stated that during the month of December 2019 in Georgetown, he raped a child under the age of 16 while knowing or could reasonably have been expected to know that she is his cousin. The matter was then adjourned to December 28, 2020. Leader of the opposition, Joseph Harman, has yet again dodged on his commitment to host an oil and gas press conference aimed at delivering information on the awards of the Kaieteur and Kanji oil blocks, among other pressing sector-related issues. Yesterday, during his first press conference in over a month, Harman was reminded that it had been 3 months since he had first committed to hosting the special press engagement. Against this, we pressed the opposition leader about when this conference would be held or whether it would be held at all. In response, the opposition leader skirted around giving a direct answer, after which he indicated that he had been contacted by us for the APNU-AFC to sit in on a December 31st Kaieteur Radio program. Meanwhile, Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlal announced that Cabinet has approved the decision to amend Guyana's law to remove custodial sentencing for small quantities of cannabis. He noted, too, that deliberations are still ongoing on the quantity that would not attract a jail sentence. The previous APNUFC coalition opposition just weeks ago submitted a bill to the National Assembly to amend sections of the Narcotics Act to have jail time removed for possession of small amounts of marijuana. Nandlal deemed the move by the coalition a desperate attempt to gain cheap political points. And now let's tell you the Ministry of Housing and Water, through the CHNPA, has commenced its Dream Realized Housing Drive 2020 land allocation exercise. The two-day event, which commenced at the Guyana National Stadium, Providence, yesterday saw more than 1,800 applicants. The event was attended by key housing ministry officials. In an address to participants, Minister Rodriguez said that the exercise is in keeping with the government's manifesto commitment to distribute 4,000 house lots before the end of 2020. She noted that it is also part of their target to allocate at least 10,000 house lots per year. Meanwhile, the Director of Public Prosecution, Shalimar Ali-Haq, yesterday commenced her oral arguments in the Court of Appeal, contending that her order to have former murder-accused Marcus Bisram committed to stand trial for the murder of Fayaz Narindad was lawfully made, and that there were several errors in the judgment that allowed Bisram to walk free of the murder. The DPP yesterday gave part of her arguments virtually before the appeal court and attorney-at-law Arul Gosai, who was representing Bisram. She is expected to give the rest of her arguments on January 13, 2021. It is now 12:09. Time for your COVID-19 update. The number of worldwide coronavirus cases has reached 76.1 million, with deaths at 1.6 million and recovery cases at 53.4 million. The Ministry of Health yesterday reported 34 new COVID-19 cases, increasing the total number of confirmed cases to 6,076, as indicated in their daily dashboard update. The dashboard also shows 588 patients are in home isolation, 35 in institutional isolation, and 6 in the COVID-19 ICU. And coming from CNN, the U.S. FDA authorized Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use in the United States as the country reported a record number of new cases. Meanwhile, Dr. Anthony Fauci said that thanks to science, and I quote, "we will crush the COVID-19 outbreak," Meanwhile, India surpassed 10 million cases as the country plans for a massive vaccination drive. And French President Emmanuel Macron is in stable condition while still presenting with symptoms of COVID-19, officials said today. Macron tested positive for COVID-19 on Thursday. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands.